Okay, we're going to look at 5.16. This is where you are given two restaurants with different ratings, and then you're given the number of customers. And what you want to do is you want to set up an Excel spreadsheet to calculate the mean. So I did restaurant A first, and if you open Excel, I know this looks confusing, but right now we're just focusing on this information right here. So what I went ahead and did was I totaled up the total amount of customers. What we did was we totaled up the number of customers, excuse me, for restaurant A. So if you total these up, that's where the 75 comes from. So we have to figure out for each rating what percentage of customers rated it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the way you do that is you take your 5 divided by 75, and that's how you get 0.07. 11 out of 75 would be 0.15. So 7% of our customers for restaurant A gave it a rating of 1. 15% gave it a rating of 2. 9%, 7 divided by 75, gave it a rating of 3. 49% gave it a rating of 4, and 15 out of 75, which is 20%, gave it a rating of 5. So what you want to do to get the mean, you want to take, instead of just adding up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and dividing, you have to take the rating of 1 and multiply it by 0.7, okay? And that is how you get each one of these calculations. Let's see if we can kind of increase that a little bit. So here's your different amounts. So it's an extra step here. You're going to take the number 1 and multiply it by the percent or the proportion of customers. And then once you do that, the extra step is getting these numbers and multiplying it by your X values. Now, what you're going to do is, to get your mean, is you're going to add these up, and that is going to give you your mean. So here's your mean. So if you go back to the original, that's their mean for restaurant A. Now let's look at restaurant B. You would do it the same way. Here's your ratings. Here's your total. You have 80 customers for restaurant B. So we're looking at these numbers here. And then we're going to get the percentage. How did we get that? We did 17 out of 80. 17 divided by 80. So about 21% gave a rating of 1. 17% about gave a rating of 2. 63% gave a rating of 3, and so forth. So we're just taking this number and dividing by the total. And then what you're going to do to get the mean is you're going to take the original rating and multiply it. So we did 1 times 0.2125. We did 2 times 0.175. We did 3 times 0.2125, and so forth. And then you're going to get a sum, and that is going to be your mean. So your mean of restaurant B is 3, and your mean of restaurant A is, what does that mean? The average rating for restaurant A was a 3.6. The average rating for restaurant B was a rating of 3. So this one has an average higher rating. Moving on to the next part. Now we want to know what is the standard deviation. So you've already calculated the mean. Now what you want to do is you want to take each one of your ratings and subtract it from the mean, and you want to square it. So you're going to do 1 minus 3.61 times 1 minus 3.61. Or you can say 1 minus 3.61 and then square it, and that's how you get these numbers. So rating 2 minus 3.61 and square it rating 3 minus 3.61 and square it, and so forth. Now, normally you could add these on up to get your standard deviation, but we have to take what we have to do that one extra step where you take this number and multiply it by your percent. So to get x minus mean squared, you take what you just got and multiply it back by this. Remember, to get the mean, we had to take this and multiply 1 by it. So these numbers we have to keep. Each step we have to multiply it by these numbers. So that is how I got, you can see here I did this times this, and then for this one I did this times this, and this times this. And then to get the variance, you would add these up, and then to get the standard deviation, you take the square root of the variance. So that is how I got 1.153 for the standard deviation. Now for restaurant B, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take the rating and subtract the mean. Where's our mean? Our mean is 3. So this is our mean. I guess I should have wrote that below it. Here our mean was this. So this is a pretty easy calculation. 1 minus 3 would be negative 2, and negative 2 squared would be 4. 2 minus 3 would be negative 1, and negative 1 squared would be 1. 3 minus 3 is 0, 0 squared is 0. 4 minus 3 is 1, 1 squared is 1, and 5 minus 3 is 2, and 2 squared is 4. So then we have to take these numbers and multiply it by this. Remember how we got those? I didn't mean to do that. Let me put that back the way it was. And let's do blue. So remember, we got these numbers by taking 17 out of 80, the proportion of customers. So you're going to take your 4 and times it by your 0.2125. You're going to take your rating, your 1, and multiply it by 0.175, 0, and then to get this one, you do 1 times 0.2. Same thing we did a minute ago. Sum these up. To get the standard deviation, you take the square root of the sum, which was the variance, and that is how you get 1.423. And then it says, what conclusions can be drawn? Well, we said restaurant A has the higher rating than customer B, and customer satisfaction ratings for restaurant A are more consistent. How do we know they're more consistent? Because the standard deviation it deviates from the mean about 1.153, whereas here it deviates from the mean of about 1.42. So this is closer to the mean because the standard deviation is less.